Imagine being alone on a dirt road, lost somewhere in the northeast backlands, when the wind suddenly stops blowing. The silence gets so heavy, it feels like it sticks to your skin. You try to keep walking, but you can feel something watching every step you take. The night is pitch black, the sky has no moon, and far off, a sound starts to rise. A sound that shouldn't exist. It's like dry leather being dragged, scraped, pulled across the ground. At first soft, then louder. You look back and there's nothing there. But the people who live around here swear that when that sound shows up, it's already too late. It's not animals, it's not ordinary spirits. It's him, the creature that roams the Caatinga, looking for anyone brave or foolish enough to cross his path. The being that was never buried, the dead man who refuses to rest. A figure wrapped head to toe in raw leather, stitched with strange threads, still walking as if death were just a small inconvenience. Some say he appears between dry bushes. Others swear they heard the leather crack before seeing him get closer. No one really knows where he came from. Some believe he protects an ancient secret. Others say his presence is a warning. But everyone agrees on one thing. When the Encourado wants to be seen, there is no escape. Deep in the Brazilian northeast, where the sun scorches the cracked ground and the twisted vegetation seems to hold ancient memories, there's a universe of stories that transcends time. Be in small rural communities, where oral tradition still survives despite modern life. Myths and hauntings walk right beside everyday reality. And it's in this harsh landscape, shaped by centuries of struggle, faith, and survival, that one of Brazil's most unsettling legends is born. The backlands have always been a place of mystery, long before European colonizers arrived. Indigenous peoples already spoke of supernatural figures that protected or cursed certain regions. Over time, these stories blended with the beliefs of settlers, cowboys, and isolated villages, forming narratives that reflect the fears and hopes of a people used to battling nature itself. The Encourado rises exactly from this cultural mix. A being who seems to carry, in every inch of his leather-covered body, the marks of a violent past and a death that never settled. Many historians believe the legend may have emerged during the era of the Congo, when armed groups traveled the northeast, wearing leather gear to protect themselves from the thorny vegetation. Others see the myth as a moral warning, created to keep travelers from wandering alone in dangerous areas. But the truth is, none of these explanations are enough. The figure of the Encourado goes far beyond symbolism. He has become a living part of backlands folklore, ghost wrapped in animal hide, walking the line between the world of the dead and the world of the living, with stories spread across Pernambuco, Paraíba, Rio Grande do Norte, and Ceará. The creature is described as a man fully covered in raw leather, stitched so tightly no one can see his face. His arrival is signaled by an unexplainable sound, a dry crack, as if the earth itself were reacting to his presence. And it's from this atmosphere of tension and ancestral mystery that we dive into the story of the Encourado, the dark guardian of the backlands roads and hidden pathways. The legend of the Encourado almost always begins the same way. Someone traveling alone as night falls. A narrow road surrounded by mandacaras, sharp stones, and the absolute silence of the backlands. The oldest locals warn that, on those paths, darkness isn't just the absence of light. It has an owner. And that owner, they say, is dressed in leather from head to toe. People say the Encourado was once an ordinary man, a cowboy, a cangaceiro, a criminal no one really knows. Each region has its own version, but they all agree on one thing. His death was violent, extremely violent. Some say he was tortured and tied up with raw leather straps, so he'd never threaten anyone again. Others claim that, before dying, he made a dark pact to keep walking among the living. There are even stories saying his body was found so mutilated that the people wrapped him in leather so his soul wouldn't tea-scatter. But the opposite happened. The leather didn't hold him. The leather became him. When someone encounters the Encourado, the legend says the first thing they notice isn't his shape. It's the sound, a harsh creaking, like dry leather being stretched against itself. An uneven rhythm that seems to come from every direction at once. The traveler tries to figure out where it's coming from, but the backlands are deceptive. The sound gets closer, never fast, always slow, deliberate, as if the Encourado knows exactly how much fear he can create before he finally shows himself. And when he does, the figure is terrifying. A tall man wrapped in layers of leather that cling to his body with thick stitches made from dark threads. His face is completely covered. No eyes, no mouth, no nose. Some say that even without eyes, he watches. Even without a mouth, he breathes. The creature just stands there in front of the traveler, motionless, as if waiting for something. Whether it's pity, fear, or silence, no one knows. But people swear that any sudden movement can be seen as a challenge. There are stories of people fainting at the mere sight of him. Others tried to run, but the faster they went, the louder the sound of leather grew behind them. It's as if the Encourado docente needs speed to catch someone, as if the entire backlands work in his favor. In some tales, he only watches and then disappears, leaving behind a trail of dust no one saw rise. In others, he touches the traveler's shoulder with a rigid, cold hand, heavy like wood, and anyone who feels that touch, they say, never sleeps well again. The elders claim the Encourado wanders to fulfill a mission no one understands. Maybe he's trapped between worlds. Maybe he protects something buried under the stones. Or maybe his soul is simply doomed to walk forever, never finding rest. And while this question hangs over the backlands, the creature keeps appearing, always at night, always in silence, always with that dragging leather sound that makes even the bravest feel their heart tighten. As the years went by, reports about the Encourado started appearing out of nowhere. And they weren't just stories told around campfires or old tales passed down by long-time residents. These were recent accounts. People who swear they saw the creature with their own eyes. And that's exactly where the legend stops being just folklore and starts taking on something much more disturbing. One of the most well-known accounts came from a driver traveling a deserted road between Pernambuco and Sira. He says he was driving slowly, trying to avoid potholes, when he noticed something moving beside the car. A shadow was following the vehicle, but there were no footsteps, no sign of a person, just that harsh sound. A dry scraping, as if coming from inside the wind itself. When he looked in the rearview mirror, he saw a tall figure covered in leather, walking as if it were floating. The driver sped up, but the sound kept coming, closer and closer, until it suddenly stopped. When he reached town, he noticed the car was scratched with marks that looked like they'd been made by wooden claws. A cowboy from the Parabar backlands also claims to have encountered the Encourado. He says he was searching for a lost animal when he heard the crack of leather behind him. When he turned around, he saw the creature standing still between two cactus plants. Watching him, he tried to pray, but no sound came out. He says he stared at that figure for way too long, until, in the blink of an eye, it vanished. Since then, he refuses to walk that path again. These reports fuel an unsettling question. Is the Encourado just a shadow born from the Sertão's ancient fears? Or is there really something walking along those roads? Something that shouldn't be alive? Every testimony adds a new layer of mystery. And the more people claim to have seen the creature, the harder it becomes to dismiss the possibility that something is out there, something watching, something waiting. In the end, the Encourado remains one of the greatest enigmas of Brazilian folklore. In the dry silence of the backlands, its presence still inspires fear, respect, and a curiosity that survives through generations. Maybe the power of this legend isn't just in its terrifying form, but in what it represents. The Sertão has always held mysteries that escape logic, stories that resist time because they carry something deeper than explanation, something rooted in the collective memory of a people used to facing the unknown. When we think about the Encourado, we also think about the line between life and death, between past and present. We think about how a story can shape the culture of an entire region. Whether the creature is real or not, that may never be answered. What truly matters is the impact its presence, real or imagined, has left on the Northeast's imagination. The sound of cracking leather still echoes on the highways, whether through storytellers or through the silent fear of travelers who swear they heard something in the dark. And it's exactly that uncertainty that makes the Encourado so fascinating. The line between myth and reality has never been thinner. With every new witness, every new account, the legend grows stronger. Maybe you believe it, maybe you don't. But if you ever find yourself traveling through the Sertão and the wind suddenly stops, remember this story. Silence can hide far more than you think. And some say that when the leather cracks, it's already too late to run. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Brazil's darker folklore, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps the channel a lot. And make sure to subscribe to Urban Secrets and ring the bell so you don't miss any episodes. Here, every legend is an invitation to explore the hidden side of the world. See you in the next mystery. Until then,